Hey, how you doing? It's Chuck English, Spring Piston Rifle Fever, Lone Wolf Strength Training. Today, I'm inside of my HW95 Luxus. So, I'm down here. I got the spring out. Eventually, I will take the barrel off. There's a ton of videos on that. Just take these screws out, and you can take your barrel off, basically. Then you can take your piston out. It's got a cocking shoe on there. This one is definitely a little different than the HW80, and that's a little different than the HW30. They're all a little different. They have these little pegs that go into the sides that go inside that you have to hammer in. But anyhow, back to the spring guide thing. So what I did earlier is I took, this was off a root beer bottle. I took and I marked 1.5 inch increments all across here. And I did that so I'd be ready, so I didn't have to fool with that later on when my hands were extra gunky. And here's the deal. Here's the spring guide that comes with the rifle. I'm going to show you how it fits. It's pretty loose. See that? It's very loose. That's why you get all your twanging. So what you're going to do is you're going to get this guy and you're going to put this inside. But first of all, we're going to cut it to size. So all I got to do is, you know, I guesstimated on cutting it. Thankfully, I cut it exactly right. So I'm just going to mark it with my thumb a little bit above it, and I'm going to cut in a circle here. It's okay to have a little extra because you can't add later. Yeah. It's kind of like doing crafts. So you do that, and then you want to cut some teeth at the bottom of it because you're going to flare that out, and that's going to be around your spring. So I'm just going to do a few of them. Because otherwise it will get real boring. I'll just do a few teeth and I'll show you how it would go inside. And I'll finish it later. Off camera. I think my scissors got dull, or else this pop bottle plastic is extra heavy duty. I was requested on doing this because I had talked about it before. I did a chronograph test with the HW30. Afterwards, I had made a shim that was actually too tight, and I went back inside the rifle and I took more of the shim off. It has to overlap though. Your shim has to overlap on your guide, otherwise it's going to get twisted. It's still got to be fairly tight, not too tight. So this is like arts and crafts, like I said. I actually had the Luxus out earlier with me. Not the Luxus, but, well, maybe the baby Luxus, if I want to call it that. HW30S. And I was just planning on, if I had a chance to do some close-up rabbit hunting with that, maybe. But I had my 22 rimfire with me. I saw 2 cottontails. I made a video about that earlier. And a thank you to everybody who's subscribed to me and prayed and supported me concerning my wife. Because she's sick. She's got congestive heart failure. Thankfully, she is doing better right now. So, saying I'm only going to show a little bit. I'm going to show more. I just start talking and going. So, that's what you want so far. Just like that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bend all these teeth outward. So they're going to all face on the outward part of your spring. So get that little chunk of junk off there. So you're going to bend all these teeth down and out. You know, when I first got into this, I learned more and more and more. And I heard about people making shims out of pop cans and stuff like that, and I was like, what are you talking about? I just did not know what they were talking about, but through lots of YouTube, watching American Air Gunner, all that type of stuff. So get it bent a little bit like that, and then bend them flatter, because that's going to be what's going to help get it, keep it from getting sucked up inside your spring. You do not want to get it sucked up inside your spring. We got all these sharp little teeth on the outside edge. I don't like that. It might not hurt anything. It's just plastic, but anything extra sticking out too far I don't like. So all I'm going to do is trim around it. And trim those sharp edges off. Be careful that you don't trim too much off, because then it won't grip on the outside of your spring. Yeah, I was going to, I was starting to do a fuller video, but where's my tool? To get these little square nubbins out, you're going to have to take an Allen wrench and cut it. Otherwise, it's not going to fit inside your rifle when you got to pry these little guys out inside here. So this is sitting inside your rifle. I'm going off track again. It's going to sit inside your rifle, and you're going to have to press it through these little holes. See, there's little holes that are in there. So your first set of your little square nubbins, you're going to have to stick this inside there to pry them out. After you get the first set out, then you can knock them out the other way. So be careful, don't lose that guy. That sits right there. And that kind of fell out when I took that apart. It's been a while since I've been inside this. By the way, this is my favorite air rifle right here. The HW95 Luxus. So wrap it around, see how it fits. Fits good. So what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to scrunch it. So it overlaps just like that. Don't try to hold it on there. Do not try to hold it to your spring guide and put it in. It's going to be really tough. So then just stick her in there. Oh, by the way, the spring, the Vortex spring that comes with these, they're kind of sharp. So I took a little file and I filed them down so they weren't sticking out, gouging and stuff. So I just work this in here like so. As soon as it's in about yay far, as soon as it's about that far, you can stick your spring guide in. This is feeling really tight, so I am probably going to pull the whole thing out and cut just a little bit more off. I can see that I can cut some more off. So it's really getting really tight. You don't want to jam it in there. So I'm going to pull the whole thing out again and just cut just a little bit more off. You got to be careful not to cut too much off, because then you're going to be out of luck. You do not want to cut too much off, like I said before, because you cannot add. Sort of like summertime. Summertime you can take your clothes, take your extra coat off, but wintertime you can't. Wintertime you can take off your coat, but never mind. So I'm going to put this back in here again. Scrunch, crunch. Scrunch, crunch, stick it in. And there, it's coming together. It's got a little bit of overlap. It's kind of hard to see, but you definitely want some overlap in there. Put that in like so. And it's going to be like that on the bottom of your spring. You can see that. This is kind of a clear pop bottle thing. This is yet a little tight, so I'm going to trim it just a little bit more. I don't want it overly tight. You get the idea. So that is going to keep your spring from twanging, because you know, if you hit something that's metal, it's going to go bong, bong. This is going to help eliminate that. So if you like the idea, you like my channel and the video, I'd highly appreciate a like. Question, comments, good to go. God bless you all. You have a great day.